I sincerely apologize. I misunderstood what conversion therapy is. The way that I understood that term, just by the words themselves, was that it was effectively assisting someone in a detransition process, which is not true even a tiny bit. And a basic Google search would have taught me that, so it's completely my fault.
You know what, David? I couldn't agree more. Gaming for Hope is a name I'm sure most of you are familiar with by now. He's a semi-popular Overwatch streamer known for his attempted climb to top 500 in his aspirations for OWCS.
I want to compete at the highest levels of Overwatch in the Overwatch Champions series. But there's a problem. I'm 28 years old, married, and raising a family.
He presents himself as this, loving, Christian, family guy who's all about love, acceptance, and community. Someone whose motto for his whole channel is "Life is hard, don't do it alone." And for those of you familiar with him, you would know that this image doesn't always line up with how he acts.
We faded away from point. No, I am literally reporting all those teammates. No. No. You don't play that badly in this elo. I need something to take care of this freaking Echo who's completely dumpstering our team. There's them right there, the two losers.
The reality is, at best, David is entirely performative with his whole character, his charade, whatever you want to call it, is a hardcore fence sitter, trying to pander to everyone at once, yet somehow miraculously failing. Now, I'm not really going to get into the contents of his full character in this video, because that's not what this is about. What I really feel puts his worst traits on display, his toxicity, his fence sitting, all of that, is how he acts towards the LGBTQ community.
This is not a drill!
First, to understand David's relationship with the queer and trans community, first we must go all the way back to March 31st, 2024, right before the release of Venture.
Day 182 of my journey to becoming a competitor in the OWCS as a 28-year-old husband and father. At this point, we've all likely seen videos about Venture's kit, some gameplay, and even some opinions on their current state. What no one seems bold enough to talk about, however, is their identity. I'm sure you've noticed at this point in the video that I have been using Venture's preferred pronouns. I personally don't agree with the concept of gender fluidity, as I think God was very clear when he said that he created us both man and woman. However, for both Venture as a character in a video game and people that I know in my personal life, I will continue to go out of my way to be humble, kind, respectful, and loving to everyone I meet. That includes using preferred pronouns, even though I don't agree with the basis of their use.
I like how he can't even call someone by they, them without having to discuss his absolute disgust and disapproval with that. So, which is it, David? Is it deplorable and sinful and evil to be, trans or use different pronouns? Or do you respect, their basic identity? Isn't the logic that if it's really that sinful or bad or whatever, that you shouldn't even entertain that in the first place? Like, you gotta pick a lane here. Like, he's trying to fence sit both sides so bad. But be like, oh guys, look at me, I use they, them. I'm such an ally. I really care for the LGBTQ community. Shut the fuck up.
I quickly became homophobic. Hating on gay people became part of my lifestyle.
Now, I've actively been watching David's streams for maybe about a year. One thing I've noticed is whenever there's someone who sounds like they could be like queer or trans in the voice chat, someone who sounds like a little fruity, a little zesty maybe, he has like these weird face reactions that he does, and he just generally acts disgusted by their presence.
My wife's probably like, what is Matt?
Hi. How is y'all? Happy New Year. I'm so cold.
Did we just get ASMR'd? Did we just get assaulted? What the heck was that?
Now, I know there are more clips like this. I know other people have, seen this too. It's just, I couldn't... I tried to scrape through a handful, and I'd like to scrape more, but, unlike David, I actually have a job. If you want to scrape his channel for clips like these, go ahead. but this is the main one that comes to my mind when I think of this behavior.
They lost a lot of cooldowns trying to run on us like that. I got Emma.
Lucio down.
I have cooldowns. There's our Reaper on our left side here. Turn around for Reaper for a second. I got you.
Trying to ignore the weird calls and...
We're coming up with a window grab. Like, y'all might be able to carry that. Yeah.
I just got 3, walk!
Your BAP is in spawn.
You have...
But y'all can walk. I can throw
You
it
are
on.
4 versus 2, just walk. Walk forward.
No. Y'all can play it. I have window. Careful soap. You don't have teammates.
Trying to ignore the weird
I'm just gonna
calls
pop
and
it.
just listen to him, but it's getting hard.
Hold on. You don't tank.
What are we nanoing the Ash for?
No, they pulled Bob. Chill for a sec. Alright, now you walk in while we still have our Bob.
Trying to ignore the weird calls and...
Good try.
Огонь по готовности.
That's a good graph.
Yeah, that was the grab that I was screaming at all of you to walk in.
And just the way he reacts to LGBTQ people in general. Like, once you start noticing, like, the weird avoids and the VC shit, you really can't unnotice it.
There's them, right there. The 2 losers.
It was me, David. I'm the reason you lost your biggest sponsor.
So, you know, wallhack is a pathetic excuse for a company, and I will no longer be endorsing them.
You pay for conversion therapy, causing children to themselves. And now, because of your ignorance and unwillingness to even confront this, you've lost. I reached out to you in DMs after finding out your charity for April, Celebrate Conversion Therapy, Recovery, which tells kids that are gay and trans and adults that they're flawed, that there's an issue that can be fixed by turning to God, and they tell women that they feel this way because they weren't given motherly love as a child, and that it's crucial for them to accept God's standards for sexuality. I mentioned all of this to Gamin4 I DM'd him, and his response was, oh well, every charity does something wrong, am I right? And that given that there's no current public information about it, I'll continue as planned. Every major psychiatric organization, the AMA, the APA, all of them, they classify this as conversion therapy, and they all agree that this is dangerous.
XYLZ went above and beyond on this video. For those who want to watch the full thing, I'll have it at the top of the description. He ultimately didn't end up donating to this charity. Still, David, you were going to donate to a charity that supports conversion therapy, and some gay people were going to kill themselves. Now, after this TikTok was uploaded, David did receive backlash and did respond to this.
I sincerely apologize. I misunderstood what conversion therapy is. The way that I understood that term, just by the words themselves, was that it was effectively assisting someone in a detransition process.
Now, David, I hope you understand thinking that conversion therapy means helping people detransition isn't much better here. Now, have in mind, not only is his mom part of the LGBTQ,
and again, I've mentioned many times, and my mom has always been comfortable talking about this, is that, yeah, she's not just an ally as a part of that community. She's part of that community.
Not only did he have a gay friend growing up in school,
but did I ever tell you about the gay kid who ended up becoming pretty close friends with me throughout elementary into middle? So so I did that, and this is real. This is all true. It's absolutely true.
Not only were most of his mod team either queer or trans, and that goes there. I'm sure there are people in his server as well that he interacted with. So I'm sorry, David. I don't buy that shit that you don't know what conversion therapy was, and even if it was to help people detransition, that isn't much better. Like, you know that most people just do it either temporarily or out of social pressure, right, David? Because of the shame that they feel because of people like you. Now, after backtracking all of this, he said, I'm going to donate to the Trevor Project.
The donations that I'm going to do from April's revenue will now be going to the Trevor Project.
Except he backtracked on that too. His original reason is that they support trans youth using hormone blockers. It's not like the Trevor Project is giving out that shit like candy. The Trevor Project, again, for anyone who doesn't know, is a suicide hotline for trans and queer youth. Then after all that, he uploaded another short clarifying a few things and saying that moving forward he would be donating to the SAFE project,
will be supporting a group called the SAFE Project, a very similar mission in that they contribute solutions toward overcoming mental health challenges, substance misuse, and the addiction epidemic in the United States.
And then uploaded another response in his closet. Come out, David. Like, David, so you've stated your beliefs, right? You think that being gay or trans is a sin. Now, you're fine with associating with those people, using their pronouns or whatever, despite it being a sin, right? But I guess blockers are where you draw the line. It's not like the Trevor Project is handing them out, by the way. They just support trans youth. Like, you can't have it both ways, David. Either it's all bad and you disavow the whole, like, you know, queer movement, identity, whatever. Either it's all bad, you don't tolerate gays or trans or whatever, or you accept your fellow human beings just as God made them. I am 100% serious when I say this, David, if you're listening to this. I'd have more respect if you just called me a filthy fucking tranny than this weird fence-sitting performative bullshit that you do, like trying to pretend like you're an ally to me and my community, when I know you're not. You were going to donate to a charity that would have resulted in queer or trans youth dying. While I'm not a fan of a lot of his behavior, especially I'm not a fan of the whole charity he was going to donate to, that whole drama and how he handled it. It's weird because I don't really want to say I don't think he's acting out of malice. I really just think that the religious people he's around have a certain, like, impression on him. I've long since deconverted, so it's not really my fucking playbook. I don't really care about your religion or your beliefs. But I don't think the fence sitting comes from, well, a lot of it is, I think, crowd pleasing, but I think it's him genuinely torn up about his own morals. His own mom is gay. He's interacted with a lot of LGBTQ folk, both online and offline, and I've talked to a lot of his, you know, moderation team who's defected, who are, like, queer or trans. And apparently he will use the correct pronouns, be respectful. Now, I'm not trying to say anything about David or claim anything, but he did have to deal with being bullied in school for just having nail polish on.
And he wanted to wear my shoes, they were obviously women's boots, and he wanted to paint his nails blue. I'm like, well, blue's at least a boyish color. I'm like, you might get teased at school, but it's okay if this is what you want to do. Just know that, you know, you might get teased. And it's what he wanted to do, so I let him. And he might have got teased a lot.
Yeah, got bullied. It wasn't even teased anymore, it was bullied.
Now, who knows if, like, he's actually repressed, or is just, like, a phase, or something he wanted to do as a kid for whatever reason. But it's very clear that his opinion is very much shaped by the environment around him, specifically the conservative Christian environment that he's grown up in. I myself understand what it's like to go through this because I grew up in a very similar kind of community, and I did not feel welcome, and that's why I'm no longer part of that community. That being said, like, obviously this is behavior I'm not really a fan of. You know, mostly the whole funding conversion therapy thing. There's not much to say except, you know, I hope he gets better. And hey, if you ever truly are repressing anything, it's never too late to be your authentic self. Hey, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching the whole video. If you want to discuss David with like-minded people, join our server. Unlike what David will say, we are the #1 Gaming for Hope fan Discord, because trust me, we all love gaming.